I've seen the growth in the numbers, but I didn't realize the difference would be doubling everything. We can have more clients, we are able to process more leads and to supply from a higher demand. What's wrong? And then you're looking, oh, my eyes were looking wrong way, or my hair is sticking, or something like that, or I don't like my tone. Calendars, and every day, even now, I'm thankful for it. We have it. I've got an automated message whenever anyone contacts me on social media. It will go out. Thank you for your message. I will respond in due course. However, if you want to book your free consultation now, you can do it by following this link.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Scaling Stories. As part of the Systemise Scale podcast today, we are joined by an awesome lady called Simona, who has built a fantastic business and been on a hell of a journey. Welcome to the show, Simona.
Hi.
In one line, can you tell us what has changed most for you in the last 12 or 18 months?
In one line?
Yeah, or in a sentence. I won't put that much pressure on you.
So what's changed the most is we got the systems in place now, and we have scaled a lot.
So where is business now and where was it a couple of years ago, as an example? Just so people have got context so they know it's worth listening to everything you're going to tell them.
So we just done our company accounts a few months ago, and our turnover has doubled.
Nice.
So, and that is hugely mainly due to Systemise and Scale, because we got systems in place. We can have more clients. We are able to process more leads and to supply from a higher demand.
And your team a couple of years ago was just you and one other?
It was me, and it was me at the beginning.
Yeah. So you started out, and what is the team like now?
5 of us.
5 people in total. And although it's gloriously sunny today in the UK, you're no longer in the UK either. What have you done in the last 6 months?
No, we have moved to Spain, where it's much sunnier here than in the UK now as well.
Yeah. So you're running an entirely remote business where all of your team are based in the UK, and you're obviously enjoying the sunny life in Spain, which we all hate seeing you there every week, of course.
Yes.
Awesome. What has been your biggest surprise over the last year, 2 years?
So I've seen the growth, like in the numbers, but I didn't realize the difference would be doubling everything. And I do know that it is because of the systems, because I can see how my newsletters works, which you provided a template for, because we get so many clients back. And the biggest surprise was when I started using your ACRM, and putting the tags on, I knew we have some clients to who we do decision in principle or initial consultation, and we don't touch base again. However, I did not expect that number to be so large. When I checked it, it was nearly 400 people. And I was like, what are we doing with those? We need to get back to them. And I did. Even the first newsletter brought back 40 clients straight away within a day. I've sent my second newsletter last month. And again, I've got clients who came back. Some comes back thanking like for a good info. Some comes back saying like, I'm ready now.
Love that. So you're dropping the bombs already, guys, in terms of Simona's doing email marketing and has sent an email to 400 people, of which 10% have responded, have come back. I love the saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, and you are essentially utilizing tech to be able to do that for you. So let's go back to the beginning then. We've told people where we're at now. When did you first go self-employed? What was your experience like? Where did you transition from and to in that first instance? Just a couple of minutes.
So first of all, I was employed in a little company down the south where I live and where I lived. And I worked there for some time, for nearly a couple of years, and then a COVID hit. And I was shocked. How are we going to work from home? Because I did consider myself pretty newbie still. But it worked really, really well. Then they wanted us to get back to the office, which I no longer did because I have 2 children and they were quite small at that time. And I was like, if something works perfectly, why break it? And you see that I can work perfectly from home. Why do I have to go back? So I went self-employed with one of the big companies in Southampton as well, and worked there for a little while. But I was promised I'm going to get leads, which they never did. They never provided me a single lead, and they kept 50% of anything I write, and the amount was quite good. So I was like, why do I leave 50% if I don't get anything? So
Mm,
that's how I decided to go as AR. And then I became appointed representative of my network. And I worked there for a little while, and I was like, I want a new challenge. And what could be a greater challenge when trying to become directly authorized, which we did. And it was a pretty smooth process, to be fair, because I heard all those horror stories taking a year or nearly a year and going back and forth with the questions and stuff like that. But it was pretty smooth to us. And it's been a year now since we are directly authorized.
nice. So just to put some dates on that for people, because people will be interested in that, you went self-employed just before COVID. And how long was it before you went from self-employed to an AR roughly?
18 months.
And then from an AR to a DA?
I stayed as a AR about 18 months as well.
So within the space of 3 years, you had gone from being working under someone else's firm to then being a directly authorized firm. Cool. Okay. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced and headaches that you had during that first 3 years?
So the biggest challenges, I guess, as for everyone, is always uncertainty. You're thinking, what if I don't get new leads? If new clients
Mm,
don't come, what do I do with the marketing? I try to utilize social media a lot, but then you hear, like, you see it, algorithms constantly changes, and then you think, oh, I don't have enough likes, or I don't have enough shares, but then you suddenly calm yourself down, thinking like, but I've got enough clients, so it's fine. Maybe they don't like and don't react, but they come, and stuff like this. And then, of course, when I've got my first starter, who she contacted me, uh, just basically saying that I work as well as a mortgage broker, but I get that and that cut. And I was like, they are using you. I can offer you better terms. Come here. And she did. So then I've got her. Then she went ahead with it because I gave it quite bluntly, oh, come here. But then I was like, how do we work it? Because she became employed, first of all. It's like, what salary do we pay? I had no one to turn back. I'm not gonna call my previous boss to say like, how do you work that one out? Because we weren't very happy that I left, to be fair. So I was alone. So if I would have known about you guys earlier, that would have made my journey much, much, much easier and much less stressful, because you have someone to not necessarily lean on, but you have some backup where you can ask questions and gain experience from other brokers. So I think those were the main challenges.
so lead generation, and then no, almost. I love the saying, the you don't know what you don't know. So when it came to bringing on an advisor, streamlining things, recruitment, all of that kind of side, it was just the lack of knowledge around how to structure that and everything else. Yeah.
Definitely.
Was there a point you thought about at any point during that 3 years? Was there a point where you thought about packing it all in and kind of going back to doing either RI or AR or even employed? Was there any of those points?
Nope.
No. So you've never
I
looked
don't.
back. That's good.
No.
Nice. And I know you said lead generation was one of your struggles. You don't have that challenge now. So what was the point when you started your lead generation journey? What did you realize about your niche, and how have you kind of put that into practice to generate the volume of leads that you do now?
Consistency, consistency, consistency. Even when I thought that nobody's looking, nobody cares, or they are not interested, or the main one which I get most often is that I repeat myself. I kind of repeat, repeat, repeat. As you often say, the chances that somebody is watching it twice are pretty minimal. You just feel that you repeat, but it's mortgages. It's nothing new. It's not a rocket science. So we do repeat ourselves. So even though I was bored or whatsoever, I kept pushing myself to post every single day. And I tried then reducing it with algorithms to go to 2 or 3 times a week. And I can see it's not working for me. So I'm back to being 5 times a week. So yeah, consistency. Every little thing.
Every little thing off of the back of that. So in your first kind of 3 year point, at what stage or at what point did you start your social media?
I only started it when I went self-employed. And when I realized, a couple of months in, when I realized that the guys are not giving me any leads, even though we promised.
Yeah,
So I then thought
straight
what I
away.
need to do, because I had some clients from word of mouth. So referrals from other clients or from friends whatsoever. However, it wasn't sufficient. and I knew these will end somehow, like at some point. So I needed to do something, and that's when I started doing social media. When I look back at those videos, and it's like, oh my god, no.
How did you get over the fear of doing video that first time around? Because the first videos are always rubbish, right? I hated it. I sent my first one to my wife, and I've still got the WhatsApp message going, "Yeah, this is awful." Yeah, how did you get over that fear? Because we all had that fear of being judged, of people looking at us, thinking we're going to say the wrong thing. How did you get over that?
I doubt you get over that. Even now when I do it, the thing is I never look back at those videos. I post it, it's done and dusted, that's it, it's in the whatever. But when I've done the first videos, for the first couple of years, the 1 minute video usually took about 20 minutes or
Mm,
even longer to do that 1 minute video. And I'm like, what's wrong? And then you're looking, oh, my eyes were looking wrong way, or my hair is sticking, or something like that, or my I don't like my tone, or maybe I should use another words, or something like that. And especially I used to do it in two languages, so in
yes.
Lithuanian and in English, and that makes you tired as well, because sometimes you use English words in Lithuanian real, and then we go like, why can't you speak Lithuanian? I'm like, oh my god, sorry, I'm not sorry. Uh, so little stuff like this, and learning to ignore and not respond to those comments where people are actually commenting just for a purpose of, entertainment, that you said something wrong, or you don't look right, or I've been told I don't like a C behind you because it takes my attention off you. And I look at the C and I was like, that's your problem, not mine.
I love it, the brutalness of it. And that was one of your challenges. You do content. Your niche is your Lithuanian audience.
Pretty
Um,
much, yeah.
you had to produce content technically in two different languages. You tried to create a UK-based English-speaking channel, but then all your Lithuanians came and followed you over on that channel as well. How do you manage doing content in two different languages and kind of juggling that to hit both people?
I prepare in advance because I try filming it in batches. So I prepare and use my best friend ChatGPT as well of ideas, but I don't like having ChatGPT to write scripts or whatsoever. First of all, because it's plain, no experience, no emotion whatsoever. So I just go, give me topics, because sometimes it can come up with a good ideas of do a reel for shared ownership or whatsoever, or
Yeah,
anything like that.
yeah.
So yeah, and I put a lot of time in. I think I put more time in preparation of thinking of ideas and what are the questions that the clients have recently asked, instead of putting more time into the actual filming.
Yeah, I understand. So you're putting more time into the ideation, into the problems, into the ICP, the ideal client profile, than you are putting it into the content actually creation itself. It's almost like get the marketing right, get the messaging right, and then just bang out the content. Is that right?
It is correct, yeah, because
Love that.
otherwise you get like there were times, when everyone danced on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, that's so not me. I don't want to do it.
No.
Or all sorts of pointing fingers and everything. So I've I've quite enjoyed doing it, because I do the way, not necessarily what's the most on track now, or most favorite for everyone, entertaining. It's mortgages. We do want it to be entertaining, but it's like we want it to be easy for you.
Hmm.
So I try to explain a lot, and yeah, not to make it too boring, but not to try and do pole dances, which I wouldn't like.
Yeah. I hear you. So, well, in your so content's obviously been a big thing. Consistency is a big thing. For those that are listening, what was kind of you said you've doubled your income as a self when it was just you as a self-employed registered individual. What was your rough average monthly written business then? How did that transition when you became an AR, and then how has that transitioned to you become directly authorized?
So when I was employed, I think my biggest salary was about 4K
Yeah,
max.
yeah,
And yeah, when I went self-employed, it nearly doubled.
yeah. So about 8K as
And
a sole trader. Yeah.
yeah, I can say it was, when you are AR of someone, is less of a headache, because you don't have all the paperwork in the background, and you don't have to I care generally for people. So the people who I employ, even though on self-employed basis, I do want to make sure they have sufficient, and then you try not to overwhelm them. So it's trying to juggle in all those things. But then, yes, of course, going DA, it grew again. However, you have more different expenses. So even though turnover grows, it does not necessarily mean that a profit growth as well.
Yeah, because you have to pay out for all the compliance support and extra Rockstone we obviously both use as directly authorized firms. You've then got the technology you need to bolt into that as well. So we started working together January 2025. What were some of the challenges that you were having at the end of 2024 that made you reach out to me on Instagram? Because other people are going to be thinking, they might be in the situation that you were back then. So what was going on in your brain at that time?
So I was fed up of the social media and all of the changes and algorithms. And then, of course, we had, at that point, it was only two of us. And yeah, two and a newbie. And we had a lot of work. But I saw that I get clients coming back to me complaining that wasn't done in time or that's taking so long. So I knew we don't have any system in place. I knew I need something, but I had no idea what I need because I was telling my girl that I want to, like, it should be done this way, I want it done that way, but there was no system in place itself. And it was actually my first worker who told me, like, do you know Gary Does? I was like, no. She goes, follow him on Instagram. He gives good tips for business owners and stuff. So I did follow you. I followed you way before December 2024, way before. Watched, looked, I've listened, how you talk, what you say, do I like it or I don't like it? Can I resonate or can't I? And stuff like this. And then in December, it was one of those days where, like, I'm fed up. I've got too much to do. I don't know how to do it. I need some help. So I did send you a text saying, like, I would love to find out what you actually do. And we are here now.
And the rest was history. So the two main pains you had were losing the mojo with social media, getting bored of the algorithm shifts, all of that kind of side. The consistency was probably something that you were getting frustrated with. But equally, you were in the point of what we talk about, or my language is like organized chaos. You're in that too small to be big, too big to be small, but everything's kind of manual. You're having to use the network system or the compliance system, but there's nothing that streamlines your business and gives you more time and more hours back. Would that be right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So in the early phase of 2025, then we've talked about lead generation. What was one of the big things that you fixed that made everything more streamlined for you and got you out of organized kind of chaos? And what were some of the first things that you put into place with the system that just changed the game for you, that made everything easier and better?
Calendars, and every day, even now, I'm thankful for it. We have it. I've got an automated message whenever anyone contacts me on social media. It will go out, thank you for your message, I will respond in due course. However, if you want to book your free consultation now, you can do it by following this link. And I do, like, it connects with my calendar and my girls' calendars. We have time set when we are free, when we aren't free, and people can book in, and you literally just open your phone's calendar and you see that. So I've got XYZ consultations. Before that, I used to write it on a piece of paper, and then sometimes you can forget or it overruns because you don't know how much time. Just because you are so worried you're not going to have a client tomorrow, you take too much in one day, and then you keep on messaging like, sorry, I'm still in another consultation, I'll get back to you. So it made me feel very unprofessional, and I don't like it. And it gives you a lot of pressure and headaches. So calendars, it's my first and favorite thing.
So calendars, what was next then for you in that?
Creating my funnel, my first free ebook, which I was again surprised when, because I've done it following your video, and I didn't ever check how many people have downloaded it. And I'd still say now I barely ever put and like on social media that you can download it here, and I still get downloads, and I'm like, oh, how did they say it? It's in my bio, but I don't put a story saying like, oh, link in my bio. So yes, that one as well, because so many people download it. I do understand it is quite useful for them. All the stuff, funnels, document checklist, and cheat sheets, as I call them. are really, really helpful, because today I was speaking as well to a client and she goes like, how is the whole process gonna look like? So I know I've done a cheat sheet where it's all written from initial consultation, decision principle, blah, 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 to completion. So I've just sent her a link and said like, that's your process, how it's gonna look like. So you have it and you can actually come back to it.
Love that. And that's a really important point for all of you that are listening. What Simona's talking about is, yes, you can have a calendar. That's for the people that are ready to buy now. But most people in social media, particularly with a mortgage, they might have an ERC date that's 5 years away. They might be waiting for a bonus from their work. They might be self-employed like my clients and waiting for their tax year to end. In a mortgage world, there's so much stuff that's outside of our control. But if they like your content, what Simona has created is what we call a lead magnet, which is something highly valuable, but low cost to create, that they can just download, join your email list. You then get to market to them, but you're giving them huge amounts of perceived value. And as you said, checklist, quiz, some kind of document that outlines the whole entire process. You created a fun one as well around identifying the right home, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
where
so
would you
that's
like to? Which kind of home suits you more? Whether it's a flat in a city center or it's somewhere in a forest or beach. Yeah, so people like it as well.
Yeah, so it's just about adding perceived value to people that aren't necessarily ready to buy yet. And so they're two key things: calendars, automations, and obviously lead magnets off of the back of that. So I love that, Simona. So in the last 12 months, then you've gone from 2 or 3 people to what, now 5, you said, and one of them's obviously a protection only advisor. How are you managing to deal with that structure, that delegation, the element of control, particularly being in Spain?
It's fine because we were all remote. We never had an office where we would come in and spend all day. I also have my first appointed representative as DA as well, who recently started. So, delegation wise, we got our calendars. We talk about availability. I always tell the girls to better show less availability when over like take more clients and then not able to provide to them. So we do have our meetings. So on course we meet pretty much every day, at least for 10 minutes, to see where you're at and if you need any help. And yeah, then we got our protection guy who does all of our protection, which he seems to love, and clients seem to love it as well. So because I've recently just put an Instagram reel about talking about each of them. I've got clients saying like, "Oh, I've spoke with Yara about protection, and he's written mine, and I really like it." La la la. So it sometimes you don't realize how well it works until you get some feedback, because you know it's there, but don't know how well it performs unless you track all the data. And that's what Systemize and Scale teach me, is to track all the data, because I wasn't at the beginning. I know it's doing good, so it's good, but not sure how good or where we could improve.
Yeah, data doesn't lie. And as soon as you can do that, that's what really, once you've systemized and you've then got the data, it then makes it infinitely scalable, because everything becomes a little bit more predictable. And your written versus your banked, your lead conversions, how many clients are selling protection, what your average premium is, how many appointments you need per week. And it just becomes a bit of a numbers game, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Yeah. So what would you say has been your best thing over the last 12 months that you would advise anybody else to do realistically?
Systems, having all the systems in place and knowing what is the next step, because even though you provide all those videos and I watched pretty much all of them, I know I haven't completed everything. So knowing that there still is challenges and
Yeah.
things that I need to complete,
Yeah.
uh, it makes me happy, because I know there is room for improvement constantly, and having systems in place is a game changer. Because I remember when I first started, in the first few weeks, I think you asked the question, if your leads double, would you be able, like overnight, would you be able to work with all of them? And the honest answer was no. Now we can, because we have systems in place, and everything is structured, who does what and when. So yep.
And would you say it's more important? Here's an interesting question, actually. Would you say it's more important for somebody to double their leads or double their capacity to handle more leads?
If the capacity is everything, because you can have double leads, but if you don't have a capacity, you're gonna have bad reviews
Yeah.
on social media and everywhere. So the capacity is thing number one. So learning as well at the beginning, we learned how to delegate the £5 tasks. So £1
Yes.
task, as you say,
Yeah.
was really, really important because I used to, and I'm the person who likes to do everything because I know that only I can do it, the way I do it whatsoever. So letting go of that control and realizing that no, you're not as important, and some people can do exactly the same thing if you just tell them what you want and how you want it done, they can do it. So letting go of that control and realizing that you can use your time for such a different and more important things is a key as well. Because when we are business owners, we always want to control everything because you always feel like, oh, if there is a mistake that we make, I want that mistake to come from me instead from somebody else. And you think that if you do it, there's going to be no mistakes, but we are all humans. There is a room for human errors. So yeah, just letting go of the control is a one big thing as well.
Yeah, I love that. So in terms of your business then, if you look back to 12, 18 months ago, how is work and life different now? Time, stress, obviously family living in Spain is wonderful, but time, stress, kind of business. How do you feel about things now compared to what you felt 18 months ago?
Yeah, the days are longer here, and everything. So I've got to do more things. But putting all the jokes aside, is I do wake up earlier here and I write business very early. So I do tend to respond to my clients early or sometimes late in the evenings, which I'm not necessarily very happy of because people do take advantage of it. If you reply to someone at 10 p.m. saying, I'll send me your email and I'll send you a list tomorrow, they then tend to email you or text you 10 p.m. every day pretty much because we feel that you are available. So that's my next thing to work on, is reduce my availability. And I've learned that a lot from fellow Systemise and Scale colleagues. So I know, sometimes you don't realize that you have a problem unless someone talks about it and literally says, that's my problem. And you think, oh, I've got the same problem. I didn't know it's a problem.
Yeah, yeah,
So yes, but it's totally different because I have systems in place, because I have cheat sheets as well of what I send to clients. It made work not only much quicker, but it's also smoother because
yes.
having all those cheat sheets, you prevent the typos in an email where they go like, oh, you can't even type a word or something. It's like I was rushing to reply to you. So yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say then in that basis then? What is the skill that you're going to deliberately get better at this in this next 12 months?
The first one is my availability. I love speaking with clients. I'm not one of those who
Yeah.
wants to build an empire and get off work. No, I love speaking with clients, getting to know their circumstances, and also, especially when there is something where somebody said that it's impossible or their own bank declined it whatsoever, literally looking into it and making it work is my passion. So I do want to work. However, I need to set boundaries now because my both kids are becoming teenagers now, and I thought that small kids are big problems. Apparently the more they grow, the bigger the problems are and more drama. And I do realize that sometimes all that drama bringing home is just purely to get their attention, because they sit here, talk with for 15 minutes, and then you think like, it's nothing important. You didn't have to tell me. But then when you try to look into it more, you realize that they just want your time as well. So I'm still in that I've got the systems now, so I realize I can do more now, but I shifting my mindset instead of doing more at work to do more for the family. I think it's my key priority. But as I said, like I mentioned, that we do more now. I've just ran my numbers and I can see that if we continue the way we are, our turnover will double from previous year again, which is like insane. By looking at it, I'm thinking like, if somebody would have asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't even dare to say the numbers. And now we are there. And I was like, I know we can still grow.
Yeah. So you're going to keep growing. So a big thing you mentioned then is I would transition that from what you've said. My interpretation is we really want to you said mindset. So we want to transition your mindset from being an advisor who's too accessible to being a business owner and allowing the team to deliver more of the outcomes and more of the work so Simona can work on the higher value tasks. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, love that. Okay. And ballpark, you mentioned obviously the business is going to double again. What would you say SAS is worth per year to you and your business?
I can tell that it last year it was definitely around 100K.
Yeah.
My investment was not even 10% of that. So I'm really happy with that. And the thing is that I've seen, you see the results very, very quickly if you put your time in. It does need a time. It's not like I've joined, I come on Wednesdays to a meeting and oh, it doubled. No, you give a lot of tools which we still need to take into our hands and actually use it. However, it's all there. So taking it and actually putting it into place and using it, it's what makes it work. And it doesn't work like for me. It's not like social media growth, like, oh, I've got 2 million followers. No, but the results are there, the numbers are there, the data is there. So it's a minimum of 100K previous year. And I know it's more this year because only this year I've started implementing the newsletters and stuff. And I can see the response from it is huge. And in all honesty, I would rarely ever go back to those clients if not that newsletter. And if it's not you every week telling us we have to stop looking for new clients, go back to your old leads.
Yeah, sometimes the simple things are just doing the basics better, aren't they? Rather than trying to find new shiny penny things to do all the time. It's like, well, we did that 6 months ago or 3 months ago. Let's do it again because it works. And we often forget these things, right? So in 12 months' time, then we're going to be celebrating Simona being more of a business owner, less an advisor, having better structure to her day, more time for the family, a doubled revenue again. What else is there going to be that we're potentially celebrating for you that we haven't mentioned?
Growth. We need a couple of more advisors to join us because
Bigger
we
team,
want
yeah.
to. Yes, we got the clients now at the moment. However, most of my team is self-employed and we want to have availability as well. Two of my girls are single moms, so we need time for the family and I want to be able to provide it. And the only way I'm able to provide it is if we grow as a team, because I don't want to start saying to our new clients like you need to wait a week for us to do a decision in principle. No, that's not a model I want to be working on. So yeah, need to work on a team as well.
Yeah, so building the team up, and then that'll require more leads. That'll require more leadership skills in yourself to make sure that they're not just adhering to the FCA guidelines and the compliance aspect, but also that they're converting the stuff that you're giving them, and they're maximizing the value of those opportunities, and they're not, working within a leaky bucket and everything else.
Yes, and then you are in a constant circle. It's just a circle every year grows and grows and grows.
Yeah. Strategic, short-term pain for long-term gain, knowing what the next milestone looks like, which is obviously what we help you to identify and sort out as well. So, yeah, it's been a fantastic year. Absolutely loved working with you. I loved I love your direct nature, the value that you bring to the groups, the fact that you come over to the UK obviously regularly for family, but you make the time to come to the March, the July, the November events. You come to our Scale Mastermind groups, which obviously now you've leveled up to the next level of what we do within Systemise and Scale and join Scale. Yeah, it's me and the team love working with you, and we can't wait to help you get to that next double over the course of the next 12 months.
I'm really excited to that too, and I really love working with you because like when I started, when I need to ask, my first question is always like, maybe I'm gonna sound stupid. Maybe we're gonna say like, oh, it's all in a video whatsoever. I've asked so many questions now, and every time we come in, and even though like as you say, we leveled up, we all ask questions, we all bring problems, and nobody is afraid to ask anything because people either been there than that or we want to learn from that, but nobody ever judges you. So it's, like a safe place. And also the thing is, because at the moment there are so many coaches or stuff, it's hard for people to choose, but learning from someone who has a mortgage firm who's done it. So you as well, Anna, being in finances and stuff, it's a key thing because you know what you're talking of. Because I can actually as well call my friend and say like I have an issue like that, and she's gonna be like, okay, yeah, but you will get through it. I'm like, how? So I've got you to tell me how, or at least give me ideas. Maybe try that, maybe try that, and then you pick and choose what you think is going to work, or you can say it worked for me this way. So that's a great value, I say, in Systemize and Scale, and especially that it's available every day. Pretty much, we have a group where I can text and say, if I have a burning matter, I don't have to wait till next week's meeting. I can ask it there and then. It's huge support.
Love that. Yeah, it's all about shortcutting your journey and making your life easier, isn't it? And you don't know what you don't know. It's much easier, quicker, cheaper, faster to learn through the mistakes of others. And I make a shed ton of mistakes so that you guys don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a team effort from our side of things as well to make sure that you end up where you want to be. So yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. I thank you for your time today. I'll let you get back to the sunny shores of Spain. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks very much for giving us your time and sharing with the audience.
Thank you very much for having me
Cheers,
here.
Simona.
Bye.